Two teams from opposite corners of the country meet here in Canada's capital for Draw 9 of the U18 Canadian Curling Championships. Hello, curling fans. Welcome inside the RA Centre as we get set for a Yukon versus Nova Scotia 2 matchup. I'm Darren McEwen. I'm joined alongside by 2010 Canadian Junior Champion Lynn Kreviazek. And thanks for joining us in the booth again tonight, Lynn.
Hi, Darren. It's so nice to be here.
Charles Snyder and his team from the Whitehorse Curling Club in the Yukon will face the team from the Lakeshore Curling Club in Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia, skipped by Mark Strang. Both of these teams seeking their second win of the event. Nova Scotia 2 just coming off of a 10-2 win this morning over New Brunswick to improve to 1-3, while the Yukon suffered its third loss of the week-long event this morning when they fell to Alberta 2. And to get us underway on this Tuesday evening is the Yukon skip, Lead, Savas, Landsauce. Great shot of the RA Centre here. Big crowd again tonight, Lynn. It's been an exciting week of curling here in Ottawa.
So exciting. We've been in here twice now, and the audience is always full. It's great to see so many people coming out to support. Looks like a ton of family members, but also a lot of fun, a lot of friends. There's a lot of young people out there.
Yeah. A lot of support. Most of these provinces have 2 entries, so it's 42 teams across the women's and men's event. And Nova Scotia, for instance, has 2 entries on the women's and the men's side. Yukon just has 1 entry on the men's side, and it is the first time the Yukon has sent a team to the U18 Men's Championship. So a historic debut for them, and therefore that win the other night against Newfoundland and Labrador goes in the history books for these 4 young lads.
That's awesome. What a great experience for both of these teams.
Get our first look at lead Ben Carlin, the Nova Scotia lead. It's a little inside on that one, and there will be a chance for Yukon to maybe sit 2.
Yeah, we're on an arena surface, and so we're seeing a lot of curl. And so I think in the previous game it was curling a little bit more than our athletes had anticipated, so we'll see who catches it as early. And now the teams did have an opportunity to throw the draw at the button, so both do have a pretty good inkling of how much this ice is curling, but for arena ice, it's always can be a little bit surprising.
And the team from Whitehorse has not been on the RA Centre ice since Sunday night. Nova Scotia 2 was here earlier this morning in that loss to New Brunswick.
Nice. Okay, boys, hand signals. Okay, hand signals. Okay. Let's go 9-5.
Sorry, that win over New Brunswick. It was a 10-2 win for Nova Scotia. You heard one of the players there, Lynn, say using hand signals because they got to get used to it a lot louder here than it is at our other venue, which is the Ottawa Hunt and Golf Club, where there is no fans in the ice. You've played in a lot of arena settings, particularly mentioned off the top, the Junior Championships. They're always really loud.
Absolutely, and they're always a little bit distracting as a player too, so always trying to keep your head in the game, but also enjoy the moment. You're here to also be a spectator, perhaps cheering on your counterparts, and so really trying to take in the moment, but also you gotta be in it for all 8 ends of today's game.
And big cheers there for Ben Carlin as he makes a nice double. Good recovery on his second rock of the first end, the lead. Talk about your junior career. Whitehorse is a place that you have fond memories of.
Whitehorse is, yeah, it was one of my earliest, I guess, national opportunities was going all the way up to Whitehorse. So really cool opportunity. First and only time I've been up to that, up to the Yukon. And so, yeah, what a really cool, it was at the Curling Club, actually, one of the largest facilities. I think is it an 8-sheeter up that way? And so they're very fortunate to have such a really cool, grand facility up there.
Roman Snyder with a hit, just rolling out of the, whoa, might be in. We'll see here.
A sneaky spot for the first end, if that one's in.
Let's draw 12 foot.
Yeah, we were talking before the game, Leonard and I, and we were not sure if these players were around for that that event back in 2007. But I was talking to the New Curling Canada CEO, Nolan Thiessen, is here today, and saying what an amazing time to be a young curler in this country. The opportunities you now have compared to when I was their age is endless. You have this, you have Rockfest, which is a new event that's starting. You have Hit Draw Tap, you have the U21s, and one of the unique experiences or unique components of U18 and U21 is what we've seen this week and previous seasons, as well as the coach interactions. So you're really learning a lot. You had a chance to call a women's game earlier this week. What is your thoughts on coach interactions as someone who has coached teams?
It's an interesting concept for sure. It can really dictate actually the end of the play of a game, because the coach has an opportunity to interact, I believe, once every end.
Yep.
So it will naturally always impact your timing. So something to keep aware of. But if they can strategically call it at the right time, it can really impact a game. And so a really great opportunity also to be able to speak with your athletes in real time. Sometimes it's difficult to have those conversations, 2 hours after, and sort of remember exactly why you did certain things at that point in time.
Roman Snyder attempting the freeze, a little heavy. We had Leslie Ann Walsh. She's been here all week from Newfoundland and Labrador. She's like a mentor basically for a lot of the coaches that are here, and she's coached at Briar and U21s as well. And she said one of the most valuable things of the coach interaction experience too is that between the ends, the 45 seconds you get to stand with the athletes, because particularly that's when you don't have a chance if you're calling a coach interaction to talk about dynamics like sports psychology, things that you might bring up, but that's when you can talk about maybe it's a time to settle down, maybe it's a time to lift an athlete up, that sort of thing, and it's really valuable. And like you said, each team gets one coach interaction per end, but we haven't really seen, the games I've seen, a lot of them haven't called more than say 5 per team. So when you get to the U21 level now, I believe it's 2 for the first half of the game, might be 3, but it's definitely not 8.
Right.
But I think they've reduced it a little bit, which is good to see.
No, it's a great idea for this young. I mean, a lot of these skips are potentially new skips as well, and so all 4 members are learning strategy, and so it's a great opportunity for a coach to come out just to give them some hints and some tips for things that they may not be seeing of in real time.
A good start here for Nova Scotia. It was Brett Carter who split the rings very evenly for the team from the Lakeshore Curling Club in Nova Scotia. See here Nolan Floyd of Yukon asked for the freeze.
Hard line.
Yeah, so the freeze can be sometimes a difficult shot, especially in the first end of play. But I think these teams are pretty comfortable with the speed and the curl of the ice already.
I think you're right.
It's good weights, just a little over curling.
All good, no line.
So an aggressive call, too, to not have the hammer to have played kind of that draw shot. So Nova Scotia very happy with the fact that there's no rock sort of in the middle. With the hammer, they're hoping to keep the play towards the sides and have done a good job of splitting the house so far and looking to throw in a 3rd stone.
Isaac Hopper, the 3rd from Nova Scotia, too. Tuning out the volume, I'm sure, as he slides out for that one. This is Pool C play for the men, and it's 7 teams in each of the 3 pools. The top 4 move on to the playoffs. The other teams, though, do get another game to play in the consolation, which is another great aspect of this event, to give them more reps. A really nice shot by Isaac.
Yeah, and every game is so important, too, especially for the seeding. I understand that they take the seeding year after year for this event. And so they're representing not only themselves, but their province or their territory.
Yeah. And we have seen some of the pools do have the same provinces in the pool, and that's just a result of the seeding. Some rivalries. A lot of them are also, would have played each other in their provincial or territorial final.
So they on the early curl on this one, trying to force it to curl with that up weight, just runs past those 2 Yellowstones. So Team Nova Scotia still looking to throw some rocks in the same sort of area. So it looks like they have upwards of 3 stones. And so Team Yukon knows where to put the broom to hopefully chase these. Not a lot of opportunity to hide, but potentially some opportunity for backing.
Go then, guys. Best time of the way. Right, Duke. I get hold it out. Hold it Really good, guys. Hurry, keep going. Bend, guys. Bend, guys. Hurry. Hurry, guys. Hurry,
So they're hard on the sweep, but they are trying to keep this above the tee.
Carter and Carlin there, dragging that one in.
Good sweep. Nice.
And a nice spot that it doesn't necessarily give them a pocket or for backing. There is potentially an opportunity to tap and sort of make yourselves a little bit of a backing or pocket. But I think with that ice, we're electing to see another hit here.
If it over curls too, you might be able to come off your own depending on the results here.
We just gotta start cleaning it up. We just gotta start cleaning.
Here, Charles telling the front end as he comes down, we just have to start cleaning it up, reduce the damage in this first end.
Like no ice. Okay. All right.
Yes, all the way, hard. Hard.
So again on that sweep early,
Hard.
trying to promote the curl of the stone.
Gets one, rolls out.
It does make contact with that third yellow stone, but unfortunately not enough for it to be fully removed. So Nova Scotia happy here to put the broom in the same spot, looking to replicate that same positioning.
Same spot as the last one was. Yeah.
There are 4 other games in action here tonight at the RA Center. There's another 4 over at the Ottawa Hunt as well. You can find the scores for that at curling.ca/scoreboard. And of course, we'll keep you updated on the scores here as well throughout the evening, because there are playoff implications on the line for a few of these teams that are out here. This Nova Scotia stone is got some wheels on it.
Yeah, you can see with the sweeper's body language, they've sort of removed themselves. It must be a little bit quick. And so it does give an opportunity for Yukon to ideally remove those 2 yellow stones.
I kind of like holding.
So do you like less ice or what?
Might see a coach interaction here.
Throw actually control.
Control? Okay.
And the coaches can call it themselves if they wish to. But it seems like Charles and his little brother Roman are on the same page, as well as with father coach Mike Snyder behind the bench for Yukon, and it's coach Mike Strang for Nova Scotia. That is Mark's father. It's a real family affair tonight in Sheet C. Charles Snyder, a chance to get his team out of trouble here in the first end. Savas being asked to make this rock curl. He's close. Has he got both? One will roll over. Will that hang on for second shot? Not quite. Good attempt, though.
Yeah, so a nice try there. This Nova Scotia team had done a really great job early of keeping the play towards the wings, and so going to get a nice 2 points, maybe a potential 3rd point because of that.
I think if you're Yukon, you might be kind of happy with that, the way this end was shaping up a few rocks ago. Still lots of curling left for this one. Mark Strang, the skip here from Nova Scotia 2.
Always a nice thing for a skip to be able to throw the same rock twice in a row.
Nothing to it. You heard
Taking
Ben
some speed off.
Yeah, you heard Ben say it's back 12. Might be able to, well, that one slides a little far, so it's just 2 for Nova Scotia 2 to begin this one. It's draw 9 action here for the RA Center, and we got a good one shaped up for you tonight. Yukon and Nova Scotia 2. We'll be back after the break from Ottawa.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Don't forget the brooms.
You got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Welcome back to Tuesday night action here at the U18 Championships at the RA Center. And Lynn, Nova Scotia 2 picked up 2. Might be a little bit disappointed to not get a few more, but if you're Yukon, you're happy to hold the team to just 2 to start with.
Absolutely. It was a really well executed end by Team Nova Scotia early, and just a few late heavy misses. And so I think the team's got a good sense of the speed now, and so we'll see what we get here in the second end.
Wait on me.
Savis is a grade 11 student.
Wait on me.
Science and music are his passions.
Hard line.
We are playing with the no-tick rule, but that Yellowstone was not on the center line, so it was
That's good.
perfectly legal.
Yeah. And that tick rule is such an interesting rule because it's just so much more emphasis on the leads to get that, or I guess to the sweepers, to sweep that rock onto the center line.
I've yet to play it, but I will be playing it soon, so I'm a little nervous. Might have a special guest joining us in the booth that will have her opinion shortly on that rule coming up. Lisa Weigel will be joining us at some point this evening. I don't think she's a fan of the rule, but...
Whoa, that's heavy. Yeah, head to nose, head to nose, head to nose. Nice job, Ben.
Ben's a grade 11 French immersion student. Umpires baseball in the summer. A lot of these athletes out here are multi-sport athletes. And I've said to a few people that 42 teams out here. You can't expect everyone to go on to, curl maybe even at the competitive level for the rest of their life. Some of them might not even, curl to go to a provincial championship again, but what they gain from this for other sports and for their life experiences and meeting people and being to a different part of the country too, it's pretty exciting.
Very cool, and what a great opportunity for them to want to continue in the sport of curling, build those relationships and have these experiences. And I was chatting with someone about what the U18 equivalent was when I was around this age, and at the time it was the U18, it was an Optimus, and I don't even know that it was run by Curling Canada back then, but I did not have the opportunity to play in it, although my sisters did. But really cool, and especially just the amount of athletes participating in this and how many friendships can be formed.
Yeah, we've already seen. I was amazed. There was a couple, at least one athlete out here who had played on another team in another province and had moved. I don't know if it was school or family that had moved. And that's the thing about curling at any age, U21 in particular too. You don't know who you're going to end up curling with or early in your career.
Absolutely. Never burn bridges.
Yes, this is a chance to build those bridges.
So calling T-line. Looking to split the house here again.
15, just bend.
Although Nova Scotia, without the hammer here, traditionally would sort of play around the center. So Yukon is open to this. Nice opportunity to chase them and play around the corners.
Roman Snyder, the second younger brother of Charles, about to throw this rock. He is the youngest athlete out there on the ice, grade 8 student. Plays volleyball, soccer, basketball, and is an avid painter as well. Great place to be a painter up in the Yukon, I'm sure. A lot of things to capture.
And he has the Manitoba tuck slide.
He does,
being cut from the Yukon.
I don't know if his brother did. We'll take a look in the next end.
Okay.
Plan B, you'll chop off the rock at the top and sit what looks to be second shot.
Yeah, and with the hammer, that certainly plays. You know, we're looking to keep it fairly wide open, an opportunity to score, and so that certainly works.
Brett Carter, grade 12 student. Plans to attend St. FX next year to study human kinetics. He's a lifeguard at the Sackville Sports Stadium as well. Make a nose hit to sit 4 now for the team from Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and a nice little roll there, too. Prevents Team Yukon from freezing on that back yellow one. And Team Yukon choosing the right rock to elect to hit here. This is the one that's causing them the most problems right now. So if they can get lucky and potentially remove multiple, alternatively, they could actually hit and maybe roll towards the other yellow stone and sort of move the play around this end.
Very loud there. We saw Savas, the lead, just confirm the weight from the other end for the thrower. He's got one. Might be able to get one of the other back ones as well. Little roll.
And a pretty good result. It did jam, although it does leave that red stone in an interesting spot. Team Nova Scotia has to be careful now when they're chasing this. They're still electing to hit it from the outside, so if it does hang, they could risk the jam here.
Isaac is a grade 10 student. Teaches soccer to young children and spent 3 summers volunteering in the community with the youth leadership program as well. So a leader on and off the ice.
But no mistakes there. The broom in the right spot to hit that on the low side. Does open up that back Yellowstone, however, so an opportunity for Yukon. They could elect to potentially draw to it. I think they're opting to hit, so the best opportunity here would be to hit and actually roll behind the Yellowstones. See if there's an opportunity to act as a guard for them.
Third, Nolan Floyd.
And close one there. Just over curls to make contact right on the nose. But very important to stay shot rock there to continue to force Nova Scotia to chase after you.
Great mechanics there from the third, Isaac Hopper. Rolling the other way now. And it'll hang on to sit 4 yellow counters right now.
You got it, Nolan.
Yeah, so an interesting result here. There might not be a lot of territory here to draw around those top yellow stones. They're a little bit too deep in that drawing around. You would be sort of maybe potentially that third shot rock. So Team Yukon electing to advance their red tight guard stone.
Interesting, I heard one of the front end players say to Nolan, this is your kind of shot, so must like those run backs. Savas losing his hat there. What does he get on the side? Well, he gets one of the other ones.
Yeah, so much just the little tight of a throw. They were on the early sweep, trying to hold that stone.
Anywhere around here works. Yeah. 2's best. I don't mind you there. Yeah. A bit less, bit less. Yeah.
So now those 2 yellow stones are fully exposed, especially the middle of the 2. So if you were to make direct contact with the center of those, it would, in theory, remove both of them. And so Team Nova Scotia likely looking to guard the center of those 2 yellow stones.
It goes and not baseball. It's still.
Mark is a grade 11 student in Middle Sackville. He also umpires baseball in the summer. A lot of baseball, either players or umpires out here this week.
So calling top 8, so electing to play into the house.
Those rocks are really clustered, Lynn.
Yeah. They certainly could have elected to have gone maybe a tight guard, but you know, maybe they're looking to maybe just put a little bit more rocks in play. And so, as you just heard from the Yukon skip here, they're looking to clean it up. And so we knew that they were going to be approaching it with a hard takeout shot regardless. And so if they can manage to get those rocks in a difficult spot to give them maybe a difficult double.
Yep, got it.
Charles has a 4.0 GPA last year. He's a co-president of the student body government. He was a bronze medalist at the Arctic Winter Games last year as well. He's the athlete ambassador at those Winter Games for Yukon. And also says he enjoys roller coasters. So maybe we're in for a roller coaster tonight. But I can really sense that if you kind of have those leadership skills, it's a good fit for a skip. Got move, touch the other one, but it's still sitting 3 for Nova Scotia 2.
I have the same thing right to it. More than last time. There's more than last time. Let's let left way here.
Yeah, so Team Nova Scotia likely electing to play the same shot, kind of that draw, a little bit of a tap on their own stone to force Yukon to make a good shot to score.
A bit less, tiny bit. They like to it, but last one was like T-line-ish. I could probably start seeing. Yeah. Like, if you have therapy, so be it, yeah? Like, we're going to find Bit less than last time, I think, guys. Bit left. Don't beat the full there, guys. Bend tight. Breast tight. It's got to curl. It really has to curl. Breast tight.
So asking for that top 8, top 4 weight, so similar to the one previous. See if they can put this in a tricky spot for Team Yukon.
Great judge by the front end.
And a very nice result there. So by landing where they are, I believe if you were to get the double, you may be too high in that you do still give up that 1 point from that one yellow rock off to the side.
Let's see our first coach interaction here. Keep promising them. Here we go. Let's listen in to Yukon coach Mike Snyder as he talks.
What are you thinking? We kind of want to just hit. Okay.
Or maybe throw pretty fast and hit that top one on the score.
Okay. Do you want to hit the top one and lose the shooter? They're still sitting 1. Yeah. Or do you get on the board with 1? So it's a tighter game. You want to draw?
Not really.
Why?
What?
Why?
Because I think if we miss a draw, then they're sitting 4.
Well, that's a risk. Do you feel more confident with the draw, or do you feel more confident with the hit? Draw. Okay. Whatever you feel better with.
And I really like that phrase or that question there. What are you most confident with?
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, there's no wrong choice. You could elect to hit if you're more comfortable with that.
Is it not last rock? Oh, my bad. Oh, shoot. Oh, my bad. Oh.
Why would you hit?
Yeah, no, hit. Sorry, I thought it was last. No.
It is.
Wait. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, draw.
There we go.
Yeah.
It was the player that was least comfortable with the draw was Roman, who's not throwing it. So at least Charles didn't express any doubts about himself throwing it either. So that's good to hear as well.
No, absolutely. Seems like he's more confident with his draw weight. So absolutely. I think sometimes as a team, it's get behind the skip. What are they most feeling?
I believe Charles was one of the pre-game draws as well, and they weren't far off on it. So facing 4, Charles Snyder with his last, looking for a good chunk of the 4-foot to pick up a single here in the second end. Sweeper's on it early. Hasn't curled much yet though, Lynn.
No, which indicates probably that it's got a little bit more weight, but the sweepers are on it.
Need to drag it. They're close. Losing a bit of the weight now, but they might be able to cut them down. So it's a steal of 3 for the team from Nova Scotia, and that will take them to a 5-0 lead after 2. Still lots of curling to come, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the great story of how this Yukon team formed after the break. We'll be back from Ottawa.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Time to go home, kiddo.
Just one more throw, please.
Thank you for making moments like these possible.
Welcome back to Draw 9 coverage of the Under-18 Championships here in Ottawa, the RA Center. It's a 5-0 lead for Nova Scotia 2 on Yukon, and Darren McEwen with Lynn Kreviazek. And Lynn, that was a close one on the last end there. It looked like Charles Snyder had decent weight coming in, but we talked at the break. It looked like maybe he had a little soft handle, and it took.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. You know, it's an arena ice, and so there's a lot of late finish here today. And I think as we saw, that rock was running really straight until about the hog line, and it started to lose. And so whether or not that it didn't quite have the weight, or potentially a lack of a little bit of a handle. And so when you do come to this arena environment, it's important to make sure that your rock has that good, call it 3 rotations down the sheet.
Ben Carlin, open end to start with here. You're watching from Nova Scotia. Hopefully you're bundled up. I know there's, 8 feet drifts in some places of the province. And I was checking the weather today in Whitehorse. It's quite cold up there, but not nearly as snowy as it is in Nova Scotia. So this one will get to the center line, but it doesn't matter. It's actually in the house, so tick rule does not apply to this one.
Yeah, and Yukon electing to keep it a little bit clean this end, and so opting to play the hits as opposed to the draws this early.
As we watch Savas with his second rock. Savas just learned to curl at the beginning of this season. And here he is at a national championship. He's already got 1 win under his belt as a lead. And as we talked about, that's a historic win because Yukon's never had a men's team in the U18. and they won earlier this week. But we were asking the team how this team formed, and it was the skip Charles who told us one of the most interesting things is how it all came to be. Of course, his brothers on the team, they'd curled together for years. Their lead, of course, just started curling this year, and then they had a fourth opening on the team, and they convinced their second to join the team this year, and that was, of course, their third, Nolan, to join the team this year. And that Nolan was actually the Arctic Winter Games playdown. He was a competitor to Charles. They hadn't talked since that, and they had an opening. They sat down and they said after one awkward dinner, they had a team formed, and it was a really a wonder that they were able to form this team for this year. And he said they're so glad that they did, and it really cool that they were able to send a team to this event here to have 4 players, basically finding that 4th player. Savas taking up curling at the beginning of the season, and now they find themselves in a national championship and winning along the way, and obviously growing. And I think it was also an interesting thing that Savas told us that although they'd only started curling together this season, they're as close as any team out here, and their strength may not be crazy takeouts or picture-perfect draws, as he said, but they manage to bring each other up when one of them is down and encourage each other to get better in every end. And he said, I'm glad to be a part of a team like this and hope to get to do great things with my friends.
What a cool story. I do want to know why that dinner was awkward.
They were competitors. Open end here in the third. Talked about the time clocks as well. So both teams have 34 minutes of thinking time. There's no timeouts. We talked about the coach interactions, but those don't stop the clocks. The games I've seen, the time really hasn't been much of a factor for any of the teams.
Yeah, that's great to know that it's not, you shouldn't feel deterred from taking these coach timeouts, and so you don't have to throw ends like this where you're running up the rocks up and down the sheet for the purposes of saving time. So nice to know that these athletes do kind of have that extra second to ask themselves what they should do here.
I've seen some of the coach interactions last 4 seconds, 5 seconds, as quick as play the hit, play the draw, and some of them, they can take up to 60 seconds. Both the coaches can converse with their players.
So a little bit of a mistake there from Team Nova Scotia, coming up short. Yukon can use this opportunity to come around to look to maybe score some of their multiple points.
Second, Roman Snyder. Roman does hold the broom, as we've been seeing for his brother when Charles is throwing in the house. This one's got a little bit of heat on it. Isaac being asked to peel out their own stone.
Yeah, so could have elected to draw around it, but I think the scoreboard is dictating this call here.
Oh, I give too much ice to that. What could he?
So that little bit of extra weight, you heard a comment there about maybe a little bit too much ice. Naturally, when you throw that much speed, it will not curl very much at all. And so you notice there he made a little bit of contact, but not enough to fully remove that yellow stone.
Switched it up. Now Yukon has to play the other turn for it. Isaac actually, muscle memory is important as a curler, but Isaac actually has an incredible memory. A cool fact about him, he's memorized 569 digits of pi. Breaking his school record, so I don't know if that's a common thing that that school competes for, but that's pretty wild.
I know 3.14159.
Oh, that's more than I know. Yeah. 3.14 is where I stop, I think. But you have to wonder if it is transferable curling, right? With like times or like how you learn anything. I don't know. It'd be interesting. This one, hang on, not quite.
Yeah, so another peel opportunity here. Taking a little bit less ice this time. You'll notice that the skip's broom was just offset of that rock, essentially expecting it to run perfectly straight. And we're sort of caught in between. Curled that little bit on them, so it does leave that Yellowstone still.
Okay.
And so it does give Team Yukon an opportunity for the thrower to throw the same shot. A little bit of a weight adjustment here needed.
Talked about his Manitoba tuck. Roman was born in Florida. So we're going to call it the Florida tuck. Moved to the Yukon when he was 2. Probably the only athlete in the field born in Florida, but nice shot here for the young Yukon third.
And a great adjustment there. As a thrower, you know, you had just thrown it. You're trying to throw that 6 feet less. What goes in behind throwing 6 feet less shot after shot? So it is slightly exposed, and so Team Nova Scotia electing to chase it. Now the tolerance here for this shot is certainly to play it a little bit tighter and to come into contact with your own Yellowstone to open it up.
Selling person down here, that's great.
Mark Strang with his first stone of this third end without hammer. Ben being asked to make it curl. Pretty great shot.
Great sweeping effort.
No mistake there.
A nice delicate weight too, really brought in the sweepers, and with that down weight, we're able to keep their rocks in play as well.
How is this side curling? I think it's normal. Like that? Oh. Yeah, I like it. I have more.
So by hanging on where they do, does sort of force Yukon to chase it. They could elect to draw around the corner guard, but they would likely be second shot.
No. I say? Yeah. Well, yeah.
The left-handed skip from Whitehorse with his first rock of this third end.
So sweepers on it early, trying to make contact.
Just down. Really down, eh?
Charles acknowledging it was maybe down.
I don't know that it was necessarily down. It looked like that was a nice controlled hit weight. I'm wondering if perhaps in his delivery he's sliding out at the broom, but you could just tell with the way that he's holding the stone, perhaps that inward motion, especially on arena ice, if you're going to get that extra curl.
I have 4, 4, 1, just draw. Top 4.
Top 4 is the call.
I think a 4 is what we want to do.
Yeah, 4 would be good, yeah.
Like, I think we have
like top 8?
Top 4.
So really good conversations happening here at the hack. All 3 members really confident on what speed and where that rock needs to land.
Oh, you got it. D-line top 4. Ben side.
Top 12.
Top 12 is what they're calling. This looks a little light.
A slightly different path crossing the center here, so it could be a little bit slower.
Your line's fine.
Good. That's fine.
But a pretty good result.
It's going to force Yukon to play the other turn on this one as a draw.
And we know that this skip loves to draw.
It does. It wasn't far off as we sit in that last end.
Just a touch more weight.
Than last end, yeah.
No, just drop.
So if he plays it tight to the guard, he may have backing here. Otherwise, we're just drawing to the 4 foot. I think with that ice, it's likely just a clean, straight draw.
All right, I'll try.
So looking to get on the board in the third end. Team from the Whitehorse Curling Club with a chance for a single needs a good chunk of the 8-foot. Charles Snyder.
So the line's great. So this is just up to the sweepers to dust this one in to the 4-foot.
A little heavy. That one will slide a little too far. So another steal for Nova Scotia 2. It's now a 6-0 lead. And after the break, we'll be joined by a special guest here in the booth. Stay with us from the U18 Championships in Ottawa.
It's a beautiful blend of strategy, skill, and creativity. Curling. But it's our people that make us great. We're a mosaic of countless experiences. We communicate and collaborate. We value new ideas and different perspectives. We learn from our past and from our future. We may even disagree sometimes, but it's in our differences that we can see our strengths. The beauty of our sport is reflected in our people and our values. Regardless of your ethnicity or gender, your abilities, your stage in life, your beliefs, or who you love. The rocks and the ice don't discriminate. And as curlers, we won't either. We will be the change that we want to see in the world. Curling is a place for everyone.
Welcome back to the fourth end here at the U18 Championships at the RA Center. It's a 6-0 lead for Nova Scotia 2. I'm Darren McEwen. I'm joined by Lynn Kreviazuk here in the booth, and we have a special guest joining us. She's a 3-time Scotties champion, world champion, and 2-time Olympian, and most recently was the Youth Olympic Games chef de mission for Canada, Lisa Weigel. Thanks for joining us, Lisa.
Thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
And so, Lisa, you just got back from Korea. This past weekend?
Saturday at midnight was when I got home, so still fighting a little jet lag.
I'm sure. Tell us about the experience over there.
It was really incredible. And my role as chef de mission for Team Canada, I was basically Team Canada's #1 cheerleader and got to be a mentor for the athletes, work with the coaches, with the team mission staff, and part of my goal was to go to as many sports as possible. So I went and cheered on Team Canada with a cowbell I borrowed from the Kreviazuk family. And yeah, I had a really great time. Canada had some great results. We got 6 medals and lots of lessons learned. These are athletes who are 14 to 17 years old, and for a lot of them, their first opportunity to wear the maple leaf, certainly their first multi-sport games. Maybe they would have competed in the Canada Games before, but probably nothing to this level. So a really, really great training opportunity for them.
You were in the same region, same city as you were at the 2018 Olympics in Korea. What was a standout moment for you? Was there a moment that you'll always remember as part of this experience?
I certainly felt a lot of nostalgia being back in the same city where I had my first Olympic experience, same curling venue actually. So getting to watch our 2 curling teams compete was really incredible. There were so many kind of standout moments. There was one day where I watched two of our Canadian athletes win gold medals in big air and got to hear the national anthem twice, which as a Canadian definitely was a big sense of pride, and just seeing them compete and achieve their goals was really special. Another standout for me was when I got to tell our athletes who were the closing ceremony flag bearers that they were going to have the honor of carrying the maple leaf into the closing ceremony. They were our pairs figure skating team, and they won gold and bronze. And it was just so special just to see them really embrace the role, do some media interviews, because those are also things that these athletes are maybe getting a first exposure to. You know, media, drug testing, living in a cafeteria, dorm style, like all these things for a lot of these athletes, it was their first time. So just getting to see them evolve and just have that spark and that love for sport was really special to me.
It's awesome. As we see Brett Carter-Stone come to the top of the button here for Nova Scotia too. So I was here on Sunday at calling the morning game, and then I went and curled, and then I came back and I called the night game, and I was feeling a little tired. And then I looked out on the sheet here next to us, and I thought, okay, well, Simon is out there curling. He just gotten off a plane like you had on the weekend, and Kaylee's out here curling as well. They were mixed doubles. Tell me about that. Like, you've come back and competed as well, and the travel for both of you at big events is part of the, getting used to, but I can't imagine coming back and stepping right back on the ice for these athletes.
Yeah, kudos to Simon and Kaylee, and I hope they're dealing with jet lag a little bit better than I have been. It's not easy. It's a 14-hour time difference, so basically your whole world is kind of flipped upside down. I definitely have some strategies. It was my third or fourth time to Asia. My big thing is just not napping. You've just got to get yourself on the time zone right away, set your watch when you're on the plane, and when you get there, you just kind of have to power through, and that's what I'm doing here right now.
There you are.
This is the time of day where I'd really like to go to sleep, and then I'm wide awake at 2 in the morning. So I really hope for Simon and Kaylee that they're doing okay, but it certainly can be a challenge. But you see, like with the Grand Slam tours, all these international teams come over here all the time and play with maybe a few days just to get on the time zone. So certainly not impossible, but just one of those challenges that comes with being a high-performance athlete.
Up and down end here in this fourth end. Yeah, I also, you had a lot of success when you were this age of the athletes that are out there, 16, 17, as a bantam curler. Lynn and I were talking about the U18s previously that her sisters competed at. But you never got to go to a national championship until later in your career. What do you hope these athletes can take away from this experience, not just as curlers, but as people?
And there's so much you could take away from an opportunity like this. And like you said, my junior career was good. I was on a really good team, but we just lost the provincial final twice. So certainly would have given anything to be Ontario 2 out here right now. So I really like this format that there's a lot more teams and that these athletes are getting these experiences, because I think that's something that can serve you as you go on to your career. Being in these pressure moments, it's kind of like public speaking. Like the only way to get better at it is to keep doing it. And so to have opportunities like this at such a young age, at U18, at U21, and then as they go on into their careers, I think is just such a great learning opportunity. And one of those things that you learn along the way is you learn way more from losing than you do winning. So whether or not they win or lose out here, I hope that the teams are taking something away from every single game. And it's great to see the coaches also so involved in the games here and being able to facilitate those conversations and those lessons learned.
And we see Nolan Floyd there with his delivery. Open end continues in the fourth end, and you've both been in coaching roles. Lynn, you were coaching junior athletes from Nunavut for a number of years. So as athletes and coaches, what message would you want? There's probably a lot of parents watching, aunts and uncles watching. What message would you want parents to take away from being at this event, watching their children or their relatives competing in a provincial U18 and U21? Because there are a lot of families here, and there's a lot of positives positives, but there's also a lot of pressure on some of these athletes.
Absolutely. I think it's really important for the athletes to see the parents in the stands and have the support of the family. And we've seen enough curlers already that have so many connections, whether they're playing with their siblings or their parents or coaching them. But whether their parents are in the stands or watching from home, it's really important that they're supporting. And so I think curling is such a cool community. Everybody is so wonderful, and so no, I think it's like every other sport. We're hopeful that the parents are supportive, whether they're on the ice or they're watching behind the glass. And so it could be a tricky sport to understand, but it's cool when you get the family support and friend support. But we're very lucky that the fans that we have in the sport.
Lisa?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I love seeing the stands full here. This is really special, and it's neat to see a lot of, this is a men's draw, and there's a lot of the women's teams out here cheering. I think, one of the things for parents, I know it's hard to see your child maybe struggling or going through a moment of failure, disappointment, but like I said earlier, those are the times where you learn the most. So I think, supporting them, helping them to enjoy the moment and embrace it, and trying not to put any extra pressure on them, because they probably already have so much pressure on themselves. And then, letting them kind of experience that whole range of emotions and that roller coaster. I think that's what sport's all about and life's all about. And this is part of what they're learning to do, is to manage their emotions, and just letting them sit with their feelings for a little while. I know it's hard. You kind of want to take some of that disappointment away, but certainly in my career, those were the moments where I learned the most.
Both these teams in their bio, and I get the sense too, the two brothers here, the Snyder brothers, still joking with each other. They're down 6-0, but they seem to have positive attitudes, both the teams, and they really do seem to be soaking in the moment. See them watching the other games, and it's a really cool experience for these two, all these athletes.
Yeah, to get to wear your provincial or territorial colors and represent where you come from, I think is such a neat opportunity, and you need to enjoy the moment. You don't know how many of these you're going to get. You certainly don't know when it's going to be your last.
Yeah.
So for some of these athletes, they're going to go on to some really great careers, and for some, this may be the pinnacle. So I think for everyone, just to enjoy it and embrace the moment, make friends. And I think these are going to be some of those memories that they look back on and cherish for the rest of their lives. Mark
Strang hitting rolls out there. So what's next for you, Lisa?
Well, in terms of curling, I have some of my own curling coming up. I'm playing mixed doubles, so I'm headed to Brantford tomorrow for a spiel with my teammate John Epping. And I've been moving more into coaching and mentoring. So I started an academy this year, and that's been growing. So doing youth programming and lessons for people of all ages and all levels. And I'm really, really enjoying getting into coaching and giving back to the sport. So just continuing to move into that role and find more ways to make an impact through coaching.
Now, there's a few of the athletes, I believe, from your clinics that are competing. Sydney Anderson was featured last night. She was someone that you've worked a little bit with.
Yeah, she was part of a youth program that I did out in the Manotick Curling Center. It was a 10-week program, so really great to have Sydney there and see her successes. And there's some athletes out here that I worked with a little bit in New Brunswick when I went and did a camp over Thanksgiving. So it's nice to get to know the athletes, to get to see them and cheer them on. And these are the athletes that we're going to be following and watching at the Brier and the Scotties one day. So it's nice to be able to make a little bit of an impact.
I know this is a men's draw, but I'd be remiss not to mention this. Tomorrow's National Girls and Women in Sports Day. And I wanted to ask each of you, who was a woman or a girl that inspired you in your careers, curling or otherwise? Lisa?
Oh, well, when I started curling, the Olympics wasn't really a thing when I was 8 years old, and the people I really looked up to were Sandra Schmerler and Marilyn Bodo, and she was my kind of Ontario curling idol.
That's awesome. Lynn?
Yeah, mine, funny enough, was my sister, actually. I guess just kept it in the family, and how could you not when I guess I was always in the shadow of Team Homan growing up. And so fortunately got to play with her and then join that team. But yeah, I would say it was my sister because we had played the same position growing up as well as from front enders. And so, yeah, it was my sister. And I have there was a couple guys on the list, but for females, yeah, certainly my sister.
That's awesome. And Charles Snyder here with a chance to hit, I believe he said, get on the board. So he's going to try and hit his stick here for the single. Yeah, a Facebook memory of mine popped up this morning of the 2014 Scotties Tournament of Hearts, and both of you were in that event in Montreal, and that was this week, 10 years ago. Hard to believe. And that was your first Lynn Scotties, your first Scotties, and Lisa, that was your second win with the team and with Cheryl, with Allie on the team. But yeah, really memorable experience. And a great shot there by Charles Snyder to get UConn on the board in a single. So we'll go to the fourth end break with a 6-1 lead for Nova Scotia 2. And Lisa, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck in Brantford. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much. We'll be back after the break with the second half of this one. Stay with us.
You make moments like these possible.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Welcome back to the second half for this men's draw from the U18 Championships at the RA Centre in Ottawa. It's a 6-1 advantage right now for Nova Scotia 2, and Lynn, it's a chance for UConn to put on their steel pants for the second half of this game, but a nice hit and stick for Charles Snyder and his last to get on the board for the team.
Absolutely. You know, it's just a nice feeling sometimes just to get on the board and try to just see, you know, maybe having the hammer for these last few ends just wasn't work for them. We're going to switch things up here, maybe a little bit more of aggressive style play, but nice to get themselves on the board. These last two ends have been relatively clean. We've seen a little more hits than we have draws, and that's naturally for Team Nova Scotia, wanting to kind of keep that lead, keep it clean. But at some point, we're going to having to see some rocks in play here for Team UConn.
We see Ben Curlin delivering. Been curling since 2016. Teammates with Isaac since 2017.
Queen, you're good.
Yeah, and it's so nice being a U18 team. You know, you might have some teammates with different ages. You know, there's no necessarily category underneath this U18 level. It gets difficult when it's a U21, and then there's sort of, you know, you're having to sort of play with people that are approximately within the same age, or you're seeing teams that are having to adjust because members are aging out or other.
Sitting right on it. Right.
Talked about the other games in action. There are 4 close games out here. We have Alberta leading Northern Ontario 3-2 right now. New Brunswick is up 3-1 on Manitoba. And next door, it is Ontario 2 with a 5-3 lead on New Brunswick. And on our further sheet, sheet E, it's Saskatchewan with a 3-2 lead on Nova Scotia 1. So I'm sure a lot of Nova Scotia fans snowed in and watching both their teams, or following both their teams. Over at the Hunt, we have other games in action. It's Ontario 2 is up 5-3 on New Brunswick. And, oh, excuse me, that's happening here. Prince Edward Island is trailing Northern Ontario 3-2 at the Hunt right now. Saskatchewan has a pretty big lead, 6-1 on Manitoba 2. It's a 5-3 lead after cracking a 4-ender in the first for Alberta 1 on Ontario. Both those teams are at 2-1 and are certainly playoff contenders. And then Simon Perry, as we were talking about with Lisa, the last end, Simon, fresh off his appearance at the Youth Olympic Games, skipping the team from Newfoundland and Labrador 1. They're up to a 6-0 commanding lead right now in the Northwest Territories, who are looking for their first win. In our game here, it's UConn with a very nice freeze there, Lynn, to sit shot rock.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're looking to see here. More aggressive style play to try to score some points, or in this case, steal some points. So those are the aggressive calls that Team UConn has to play, and great execution.
Talked about both these teams being at 1-3, so if they can, whoever can pull off the win, if they can get a win on their last round-robin game, they might find themselves in a playoff position. It is the top 4 teams from each of the 3 pools that goes to the playoffs. The top 4 overall go right into Friday morning's playoff games, and then those that are 5th through 12th will have a Thursday afternoon game, and they'll be in a playoff, a single elimination game from the gold medal matches. So a really exciting few days here in Ottawa. The championship will be declared on Saturday for both the men and women. A few more rocks, though, in play to start with this end.
Yeah, so I think we're seeing another freeze attempt here. They do have the 1 rock in play, although second shot. So looking to see if they can sit another one right in front.
Roman Snyder trying to lock one on. It's a good one.
Nice one, Roman. There you go.
And very nice.
Savas giving him a pat on the back. Talked about those other games. This is Pool C. So leading the pool right now is Jackson Hebert of Alberta 2. He's at 3-0. New Brunswick is 2-1, and Manitoba are also 2-1, along with Northern Ontario 2-1. So a really important game for this pool. Nice shot there by Nova Scotia 2. Really important game happening over on sheet A for this pool, where Northern Ontario is playing Alberta, and a chance for Northern Ontario 2 to bring back Alberta if they can defeat them there and really cause a logjam in Pool C, and that would probably help out whoever wins this game as a chance to maybe squeak into the playoffs. Draw to the button is a factor before the game as well for tiebreakers if they didn't play each other in the round robin for the overall ties. So those draw to the buttons, and we've seen quite a few of them be fairly close to pinning. So that will probably become a factor in either the men's or the women's for breaking some of those ties.
Hard service. Really hard.
Yeah, we did see just a great shot there from Team Nova Scotia. So lying their 2 stones. Yukon with the double attempt, settles for the 1.
There's a house over here. D-line.
And so Nova Scotia with the hammer, electing to split the house, separate their 2 stones to make it difficult for Team Yukon to remove them both.
Brett Carter throwing this one. He was previously coached by Heather Smith, who is off to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts again for Nova Scotia. So a good mentor to have there, who's also had some mentorship from Mark Dacey. And so really, actually both these teams have had a work with athletes that are off to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Calgary next week. Taylor McDonald worked with some of the members of the Yukon team and some of the, I believe it was the Alberta Rocks events that they had out west.
Very cool.
Lane, you came off a heartbreaking Ontario Scotties. You were very close to being that Team Ontario, but what's next for you?
Thanks, Darren. Yeah, unfortunate end to the women's season. Nobody likes to lose a final, but hey, we were proud of our week and happy to have made it there. But no, my husband and I, David Mathers, are looking to defend the mixed doubles title now. So we just played in a local qualifier this past weekend and qualified for the provincial championships. And so there are 24 teams participating at the Ontario Mixed Doubles Championships at the end of the month. So we're heading back down to Southern Ontario in a few weeks' time, and we will see what happens there.
Awesome shot there by Nolan Floyd to freeze again. Well, congratulations. It's going to be exciting. Mixed doubles, you had some success there last year, right? It was provincial champions?
We did, yeah. We weren't quite sure. Mixed doubles is a new sport for many, including us. And so, no, I think we got off to a hot week. And, of course, when David's on, he's throwing 3 in the middle, then he makes my job easy to throw a last stone. So.
He was on at the Ontario Tankard. He's off to the Briar, so you're headed there to support your husband in Regina in a few weeks as well.
I am heading to Regina for opening weekend and cheer on Team Howard, so very excited. And yeah, Scott had an amazing week, and I think David really excelled playing the kind of that second/third position. And so they had a great week in Dorchester, and really excited to carry on and cheer for them in Regina.
So nice shot by Nova Scotia 2 to sit 2.
Wait on me. Needs it. I think it needs it. Needs it, boys. Needs it.
Yeah, so trying the freeze attempt here on that side yellow.
Needs it. Go.
It can be difficult to score or to steal points, Darren, when you do not have guards in play. But they had tried some of the freezes from early on. So although that one does come up short, which in this instance may not be an error, it actually may come to help them in their attempt to steal this end.
Yeah, it's actually a great corner guard.
So Nova Scotia could have elected to peel that corner guard because it does act as a dangerous stone for them, but instead electing to hit the stone in the house instead. I do think the more dangerous stone in this instance would have been the corner guard, just because their stone is at the back of the house. So it does give room and opportunity for Team Yukon to not only utilize the guard, but to also freeze to their opponent's stone that's behind at the back of the house.
And we've seen UConn withdraw weight this end, so if Charles can continue that, a great opportunity to maybe generate a steal here. Talked about influences. Charles is the one who got some coaching from Taylor McDonald as well as Tim Crossman at the Alberta Rocks event. And should mention too that Roman, his younger brother, was at an Alberta Rocks event and had some mentorship and learned the fundamentals. He credits Zach Davies, and Zach Davies won this event last year for Alberta. So already you have U18 graduates and champions. I know that Mila Plett, who won this event for the women last year, that one looks like it picked maybe out of his hand or grabbed, was someone that was both giving back, Mila and Zach. So right out of his hand it went. Pretty good weight though, Lynn.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate when that happens. And I mean, you could see it curled a little bit more than they expected. But so if there was a pick, it certainly impacted the trajectory of the stone, not necessarily the weight of it.
At least he knows he has this weight if he has to draw again on his next. Let's see if here, if it was a pick or if it just turned it.
Yeah, so difficult to tell. We discussed earlier that perhaps the release of the stone is a little bit of an inward motion. So.
Nice soft weight here.
Influences. Mark's dad, of course, the coach of this team. Past president of Nova Scotia Curling Association, as well as past president of their club. And Mike is the coach of this young team.
So Team Nova Scotia not wanting to be deep here to give more of an opportunity for backing. Unfortunately, coming a little bit heavy. I think the audible for plan B may have been actually to have the sweepers have swept that and actually carried that rock through the house. So unfortunately, although it is shot rock, it actually acts more of a benefit to the opposing team.
Okay, there's so much backing.
There's so much backing, Charles says. He knows his weight, that's for sure.
Yeah, and especially if they do think that the last rock had grabbed. The skip is sitting in the hack knowing that he's throwing the same speed as he had just done. Looking to carry this rock right into the middle of those other two yellow stones to act as backing.
So his final stone, looking to steal this end. Bring his team back into this one. Weight looks pretty nice. This one's going though.
Yeah, so sweeping hard to get this one by the corner guard.
Are they by? They might chap off. Again, the weight wasn't too bad, Lynn.
No, not at all. And I think the sweepers did like it out of hand. And it's difficult sometimes just to say the word close. You know, clean, keep it. You know, it's right on the right trajectory. And you're just trying to keep it going straight. I think they may have switched a little bit early and then unfortunately had to switch back. So it's difficult sometimes as a sweeper to want to really just pounce on something. But it looked close out of the thrower's hand. So.
Chance here for Nova Scotia too to hang a few more and extend their lead in this fifth end as we watch Mark throw his last rock.
He had sent something out of his hand, but the sweepers are not on it, so perhaps he thought it was a little bit warm.
He doesn't really have backing on this path yet. It's going though right towards the center line.
You can see just how much it finished up there. Some of the weight coming off and settles nicely.
Really nice draw for the Nova Scotia skip, and it's a 4-point end. So they'll extend their lead to 10-1 as we head to the sixth end here in Ottawa. Stay with us.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back. RA Center for drawdown coverage of the U18 Championships. And a 10-1 lead right now for Nova Scotia 2 on Yukon. Yukon next in action tomorrow afternoon over at the Hunt Club. They play New Brunswick, and as we mentioned, Nova Scotia 2 has the day off tomorrow. So Lynn, both these teams, the game might seem a little out of hand right now for Yukon, but what are you trying to gain from these last couple ends if you are Yukon and know you're going to be playing again tomorrow?
Absolutely, just a sense of comfort. You know, I think as a player, if you're finding that you're potentially missing the broom or you're consistently heavy or light on draws, it's really just trying to focus in on what you think maybe something you could work on. And so I think the skip does have his draw weight, and so maybe a discussion maybe with his brother at back end to determine what they could do differently to achieve more shots. And so yeah, I think it's just really just trying to string some shots together to gain a little bit of confidence going into the next game.
And I think all the players Yukon that last end did have a pretty good draw weight. We saw a couple nice freezes as well. So whatever was talked about at the fourth end break also paid off. They might not look like it on the scoreboard, but I think it was a better played end for Yukon that end. And if you're Nova Scotia, you get the day off tomorrow. I know it's Winterlude, but frankly, nothing's really happening here because it's too mild. So what would you do on a day off at an event like this if you're visiting Ottawa?
In Ottawa?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's unfortunate that, well, as I say that, it's unfortunate that it's not colder, that there aren't more activities. But, you know, downtown, just to walk around and go out to sort of that Lansdowne area and or the Parliamentary area. Very cool. And I know I had seen on socials that one of the Alberta female teams has actually gone to Parliament and was even able to meet with one of their members of Parliament and get a tour. So what a cool opportunity if you have time to do such.
Yeah, Nova Scotia 2 is back in action Thursday morning against Manitoba. Should also say, too, there's a great players' lounge set up here at the RA Center. The RA Center has a lot of activities that you can participate in. They have archery, they have pickleball, all sorts of things. But they also, Curling Canada has set up a great athletes lounge. I think they have like some games and stuff at the hotel too. And we talked earlier in the broadcast about building some bridges with other athletes, getting to know them. You're probably going to see them at future championships, but you might also play with them. And also a chance to, we have some athletes that are first year university, some that are in grade 7 and 8. So, you know, a chance to learn from those athletes and see kind of what they do. What are their routines as a team? What can you learn? And I would extend that to coaches as well.
Absolutely. And speaking on the fact that there's so many teams here, a lot of these teams, especially, you know, Nova Scotia having multiple teams on a day off, for example, come and support your female counterparts or your male counterparts. And also use that as an opportunity, as a learning opportunity to scout some rocks or some ice, something that you may have to play at yourself the next day.
You see Ben's Rock split the tee line. Our broadcasts continue tomorrow as well. We have women's play in the morning, 9:30 Eastern. It's Newfoundland 2 taking on British Columbia 2. And it is loud in this arena tonight.
I think we have a lot of loud Alberta fans out there for a score.
It is a very key game with Northern Ontario 2 versus Alberta, and the fans are into it. We'll see Romans Rock slip a little deep.
And for some of these athletes, too, this is their first opportunity playing on this arena-style ice. And so getting used to the speed or the curl of this type of ice surface may be very different from what they're used to at home. And so sitting in the hack, trying to get that feedback from your players, your sweepers, to really trust the fact that maybe it is a lot faster than you expect, or it will curl a lot more than you expect. Really having to trust the ice.
Makes the peel, avoids the one in the house. Yeah, it's almost it's so fast for some of them that when you're sliding out, you feel like you barely need to push when you're playing on arena ice sometimes. You almost come to a stop before you release the rock.
Absolutely.
What? Okay, yeah. Okay, he's got to slow down.
So Charles calling the freeze for his brother. It was a big steal, or excuse me, a big three-ender for Alberta. Jackson Hebert going up 6-2 on Northern Ontario 2 on sheet A. That's what all the applause was, and the horns were for. I'm very impressed, though, with UConn. I know we talked about it a couple ends ago, how they do lift each other up. They are down, and his brother's still saying, like, you know, good throw, good try. They're still very positive out here as a team, which is great to see.
Absolutely. If we could take one thing out of each shot, too, and give a little bit of feedback to your players, you know, perhaps it was a great slide. He was right at the broom. And so those are the takeaways that you need to take if you're going to continue to build from game to game.
It was their first national championship, and it was described to me by one of the athletes. We are from a small town way up north, and we're just really lucky to have this opportunity. And that was Nolan Floyd III who said that.
Very cool.
A nice shot by Nova Scotia's 2's Isaac Hopper.
When you talk about what these athletes can do on a day off, too, I know from coaching girls from up north that anytime they had off, they wanted to go to the mall. They wanted to shop and do things that they couldn't necessarily do at home. And so I think these guys are probably from the city of Whitehorse, so maybe not necessarily the case, but depending on where they're from, some of these things might be new.
Yeah. I was last year at the Everest Curling Club Championship, which was at the West Edmonton Mall, and the teams from Nunavut.
Well, how could you not?
Yeah, they had, and it was Black Friday, and they just bought so much stuff. They were just driving the stuff to the post office to ship back home because they couldn't even bring it.
That's when you stuff the broom bags on the way home.
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely some great shopping here. We're actually next door to a shopping mall, but sweeper's dragging this one. Might get a piece of the house, not quite, but a good scrub. Good sportsmanship there. Savas declaring that he did burn it just at the very end, and Mark saying that's totally fine. That was nice.
Yeah, if you accidentally make contact with the stone at the end of its life, it's typically noticeable as to where that rock would have landed. And so it's up to the opposing skip to decide what to do with it. And in that case, I don't think either team thought that it had only made a minor impact. So is there an opportunity to hit and roll on here? Although the scoreboard being the way that it is, nice just to clean it up. So great execution here from the team Nova Scotia, not letting their foot off the gas.
You know something's wrong. Yeah. I think I know this ice now, though. Okay, you got it.
watch all of this.
So looking for just a little bit more speed than the last one. He's right behind the rock, helping his teammates.
The grade 10 student from Porter Creek Secondary. Nolan wanted to give a shout out to his mom, who's a very influential volleyball coach in Whitehorse. Both his parents active in sports as fans and players. And his brother as well, a great support and mentor, keeping each other competitive. You'd know something about that, competitive family.
So electing to make the peel here. I think with this ice, they're looking to hit it on the low side and roll inward.
Yeah, clean. Yeah, clean. Yeah, it's really cool. It's good. Go back. Yeah, good job.
Peel it out.
Very nice execution from this Nova Scotia team. Just as much as Team Yukon's looking to learn to take into their next game, Team Nova Scotia is certainly doing the same. Especially if any of the teams are to return onto this ice surface, they're looking to take away how much it was curling, what the speed was, to get themselves ready for the next game.
Yeah, Nova Scotia 2 will be back here at the RA Center Thursday morning. That will be their next game. And as we mentioned, if they win this one and were to win the next one, there's a chance still, I believe, playoff contention for them, and that would be back here at the RA Center as well. So a lot to take in. And of course, Yukon as well. When you drop into the consolation, if you are to, some of those events, I believe, are happening here at the RA Center. Hunt Club, great facility. I know you've curled there before. I think you played a mixed doubles back early on, wasn't it?
Yes.
Nationals there with David?
Yeah. Back when they...
Like the rules were even different
It was sort of an open concept national. Yes.
There wasn't power play, I don't think. I went to watch. I had no idea what I was watching.
That's exactly it. No, that was fun. And no, the Hunt Club is a great facility. A little colder, perhaps, but always a very fast and curly facility. So it should be very similar ice surfaces for the athletes, which is very helpful when you're going from surface to surface.
Charles will hit and roll out there. Yeah, Bill Duck has done a great job as head ice technician for this event. He's supported, of course, by Rick Allen, who's someone makes our ice over at the Ottawa and the Rideau Curling Club as well. And so two excellent ice makers, top notch for these athletes to get the experience on. And they have an army of supporters.
Even a 4 of you, are those in the house?
It's funny, the Nova Scotia 2 team here is keeping a little bit of an eye on their friends over on sheet E. They're playing Saskatchewan in a close game. Mark's Rock a little deep here, but
yeah, see if it can hang on. And no harm there. So Team Yukon, again, with the option to, they could hit for their 1 point, they could hit and roll out to blank the end, and they could score by drawing for the single point. So the skip electing, I think he just prefers draws, which is great. And I mean, in this instance, when that is a back 12 stone, this is certainly a call, and great when your skip has the confidence to throw this.
Charles looked at Roman before he put the broom down and he said, "I'll make it." Final stone here. 6th end for Charles Snyder, the skip from the Whitehorse Curling Club.
Looking for a piece of the 8-foot.
close, Lynn. This looks pretty good. He told his brother he was going to make it, and he did just that. Great shot for the Yukon skip, and he'll pick up the single to go to 10-2 lead, and that will be our final tonight here at Draw 9 of the U18 Championship. I want to thank you, Lynn, and wish you all the best at mixed doubles. And
thanks, Darren. It was great being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. And we'll be back tomorrow morning for coverage, continuing coverage of the U18 Championships. So long, and have a good evening.